So, Gretchen Felker Martin, you're a DC writer, and you think making fun of Charlie Kirk because he doesn't follow your political views and stuff. And as people know, I actually watch both sides to see who's talking with information and stuff. And Charlie Kirk was someone that I did follow to watch, and found their debates at colleges to be very interesting. This person gets taken out, and Gretchen thinks this is like awesome and calling them Nazis and stuff like that, which already to me is garbage. Stop calling everybody that. You don't know what a Nazi is. That just say you don't know what it is. Because if you go with some of the stuff that they follow, you follow some of those things because of the type of person you're being. Now, outside of that, not even getting into all that, I always said that, if you're a hard standing one way or other, 50% of the time, you're wrong. So I love the character Red Hood. I usually grab Red Hood comics. I wasn't able to I grab everything. I'm pissed off because I couldn't get Red Hood Outlaw all the way through at the time. And now those trades are super high. But I love Red Hood. Red Hood's one of my favorite characters. And I was originally going for that comic. Because I was like, oh, Red Hood's going to team up with Huntress. I knew a little bit. I heard the person, Gretchen, whatever, was kind of a jerk from time to time. I just didn't know how bad. And I did not take the time out to look. Now, I have a policy. One of the reasons why I don't read any of Ta-Nehisi Coates' stuff, I don't care what anyone says. First off, I don't think the stuff I have read of Ta-Nehisi Coates isn't that great to begin with. But anything that deals with 9/11, there's another writer that did something too. That's where I have a draw line. Now, Gretchen said something about, Bin Laden, and how, we don't agree on much, but I think the World Trade Center thing was good. And I'm like, what? And I started actually looking at this person. This person who's trans, all this, celebrating, saying I'm the monster, the trans monster that took out J.K. Rowling and slit throat. And I'm like, oh, you're just a terrible human being. So then I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait a minute. I looked on the Blue Sky or whatever and got kicked off of Blue Sky, or suspended for Blue Sky for this. And I just kind of sat back and I went, why would DC hire this person, but then never work with a person like Chuck Dixon saying they're too extreme? And I mean, I looked at this person's tweets. And I'm like, and just the things this person said in the past, I'm like, wow, this person is a special kind of disgusting. And I think that DC needs to say something about this. And I honestly think if you're celebrating somebody's passing who was taken out, they have family, they have people like that. Not because they were the wicked person who hurt people or something, but basically they were just opposing your opinion. Now, I know some people go, oh, is that? I don't care. A person is allowed to oppose your opinion. They do not have to agree with you. That doesn't mean you have to agree with them either. But this is political standings. We are more than just politics. We're supposed to be anyway. And you should not be celebrating somebody who is doing their side, because this is America, and I know some people will be like, well, no, it's it. I don't care. It's America. We have multiple sides. That's why there's voting. That's why there's Republicans and Democrats. You can sit there and say one's evil, one's not. Whatever. I don't care, because trust me, as much as you can find someone bad on the other side, I can find someone bad on your side. Both have good, both have bad, both are terrible, both are okay. So let's grow up and get over that so nobody counters. What I think is garbage is the fact that you're celebrating this and saying like stuff like, well, I hope the bullet's okay. Like, that was the same thing like when they tried to assassinate like Trump. Like, that's not cool. I don't think it's like that's garbage. That's garbage human behavior. I don't care if you don't like somebody on that level to do that. Then you keep that same energy when it's on your side. But after seeing the stuff that this person said, I'm like, you're truly wishing death on people because they oppose your idea. Like, they don't like your idea. I'm not saying you have to like them. You don't have to buy their stuff. You don't have to do it. Basically, you can be like, you're garbage. I'm not going to support you. That, to me, is fair. That's base. But the level of what I saw, I gotta make sure I take that off my pull box. I just would get stuff with Red Hood just because Red Hood's in it. That's the reason why. I didn't know much about the art. I heard a little bit about the writer, but now that I've like actually gotten to see, no. And the fact that DC hires people like this makes me question DC's decisions. I think DC needs to take a step back, and across the board on entertainment, these people, it's one thing to be hyper political, but these people are going extreme. Like, they're like, you got to vote the way I vote. And I'm like, just do your job. If you're there to act, just do the movie. Write the story. I mean, I get it. You want to say something, sure, whatever, but to this level, it's crazy. So I personally think, I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said or whatever. I watched it. I enjoyed the debates, like I said, from the schools and stuff like that, and the back and forth. And I've seen some real good conversation come out between him and other people. And now that this Gretchen individual, I know some people are now purposely misgendering and saying, no, you're a trans person, no, you're a man, and all that stuff. I'm not doing all that. All I'm saying is that I don't think it's cool to celebrate somebody because you don't like them, that when they get wrongfully assassinated, like, I just think that's messed up. But, you know, and I have a pretty warped view on a lot of things in reality from time to time, admittedly, but that's just one of the things I just can't get down with. But after seeing the thing with the 9/11 thing, like, go ahead, when you get the chance, look, like, it said something like the towers, I'm told, like, it was like something like the towers I'm good with. I'm like, we're okay with. I'm like, are you insane? You must be. That's foul. That is one of the darkest days in American history. People lost their lives, innocent people, and you think that's cool? Yeah. I'll make sure to remember your name from now on and never buy a comic that you ever do. Anything you ever write, I will make sure I do not consume anything you ever do. I did not know, and now I do. I just question why DC's hired this person, why they keep them on there, but then again, I think, oh, maybe it's a checkbox situation. I don't know. But tell me what you think. I think that's just disgusting, personally. But yeah. And it just so happens to be, I kind of came across it because the fact of the Red Hood book, so anything Red Hood connected, I would probably not even known about it. And by the way, I do apologize for my voice. I'm having throat issues, nasally, all that stuff. Earlier I had like 2 throat lozenges in and was drinking tea, so it's back to crappy. I just also needed to say too, because I had to stop the video because I was doing something. I think DC needs to cancel this book and step away from this person, Gretchen. I know they like to do bad behavior, and they'll sit there and say stuff like Mark Wade, well, he was provoked, or Dan Slott was provoked, or the fans were being mean, or there's some kind of back and forth or something, and they always find something. Entertainment, you know, they always find a reason to say, hey, this leaning person agrees with us and our values, and the other person shouldn't have a job because they voted different or whatever. Okay. With all that discourse back and forth and doing it, this is not that. This person goes out of their way to say these things, not being provoked, not being anything, so you can't really use that excuse. And now I've been hearing, as I've just kind of delved into the situation more, that DC knew this person was like this. And I'm hearing it from multiple places. And then I go back further and find out I see people make videos when the person announced, or when they announced this Red Hood, and there's people who are mentioning it then, that they heard about this person being this way. And I'm seeing like TikTok and all these different things, and I'm like, I didn't know, because I really honestly wasn't looking into the person, never really heard of them before. Only thing I knew about them was that they were a trans person. And quite frank, that's the same as if you told me a person's race, or say, hey, this person's black, or this person's white, or this person likes tapioca. Okay, well, if they're a writer, sure. And I'm just looking at DC like, you need to cancel this book. Just like y'all would cancel this book if somebody said, some craziness on the other side, or if something, God forbid, happened to like Kamala Harris or Barack Obama or something, and you have a person go, yeah, that's good. It's the same thing. You can sit there and you can say that you don't like how this person was or is, or what they are. This person has a family, and the fact that I've seen people just sit there and go, yeah, that's cool. You should question yourself if you're a person that's celebrating somebody because you think they have bad takes or they have a bad opinion. I am not talking about somebody who did something physically to someone or who did something. The punishment should match the crime. This guy went around and had his opinion, and I've seen the news go, oh, he's MAGA, he's this. I don't care. So what if he's a Trump supporter or whatever? This is America, and I think somewhere along the lines, people forgot that. And when people forget that, it's like you need to take a step back and realize if you only think your size will survive, then you're just as bad as the dictators you think. They're just, so that's already something there. And it creates people like this Gretchen person saying this kind of stuff. No, the book should be pulled. I don't care if it's done. I did hear about DC people saying something along the lines of, well, Red Hood isn't a big seller anyway, so why does it matter if we hired a bad person? Okay, so then why does it matter if you cancel the book? And this is coming from somebody who is desperate for Red Hood. I want more Red Hood comic. I want Red Hood in a comic. I've like certain characters I just have a straight up love for. Red Hood's one of them. Same as a Dreamer. Or that is Dreamer. I have bought comics because Dreamer is in it. I love Dreamer as a character. There are just some characters I really, really like. Same with Anole. I bought the NYX comic because Anole's in it because I was desperate for more Anole. So I have characters that aren't top tiers that I love. And I'm like, I want to support that character. And hopefully I get some more of that character in the future. The fact that I've seen so much now of this person and who they are, and maybe I need to start taking more time to look at some of the writers and stuff. Because a lot of times if your book is interesting and you're supposed to be a talented writer, I actually go with the artist first. But this kind of behavior, they need to pull this book. DC needs to make a statement, and they need to question their hiring practices and recheck their hiring. And why would you hire this type of person? I just don't get it. And I honestly, personally think DC needs to make a statement. DC needs to reiterate and hold this value that people who say things like this have to be held accountable, especially when it's unwarranted. This person is unhinged. And now I didn't have to cherry pick or nothing. I just went and looked. I don't even have Blue Sky like that. I literally just Googled this person a little bit. And I mean, things, TikToks popped up. tweets popped up. Like, I was like, this person literally is wishing death on people because they have a differing opinion, or they don't agree with them, and they think that these people deserve to not be here anymore. And I just think that's extreme to a level of you disagree with me, and I think that you deserve to be taken out. And that's what I meant earlier when I said you act like those people you call the Nazi. Because they didn't like these other people. They thought that they were right and they thought everybody else was wrong. And that somehow God made a mistake by having these people born and being Jewish and being this. And what did they do? They took them out because they were different. They had a different opinion and they had a different way. And I definitely say you need to think about this. And a person like that needs some help mentally. Because that is, if we're at that place of that level, that is a sad state to be in mentally. And saying, and also too, I've seen people go, well, he said things that are, you know, that are radical or that people don't like. Welcome to America. Freedom of speech. Now, that doesn't mean you have to love the person or anything, but you should not lose your life because, excuse me, I'm sorry, voice is going again, because of the fact that they don't have the same opinions or your things don't line up. His family, from what I understand, was there. You think that's cool? His kid gets to see that trauma. Like, no, there shouldn't be there's a level of, there is no level of. I wouldn't want that on either side. That is wrong. And trust me, there was a couple people that were like, well, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. And I had to check them too. Like, think about it. And once they thought about it, they were like, oh, wow. Like, people get caught up in this political tornado. And sometimes I think that echo chamber flips. And I'm like, no, you got to think. You got to think outside of that person. You got to think and put yourself in their shoes. You got to think and try to look at it from that point of view. Like, yo, would you think it's cool that if somebody didn't agree with you, like, let's say you like an opposing team, do you think they should just walk in and say, well, you like a different team, pop, pop? Of course not. And this person celebrating this, unprovoked and everything, you knew this person was. So this means for those people who at DC that knew about this, was this one of those examples of a diversity hire or something? Like, and I'm asking because I'm like, what made you think this was okay? This person, when I started looking, I'm like, this ain't some new stuff. This person's hot takes would be really bad back in 2015, 2016. This would be considered extreme. So where's, like, what made you think this was good? Like, that's the only thing I can think of hiring this person. Why else would you do that? And I'm legitimately asking. But I honestly think DC needs to cancel this book and be done with this. There is no whatever. Don't take the name off. Just cancel the book. Take the L. Eat it, and then learn from the mistake that you should never hire a person like this. Keep protagonists. You stay safe. You stay healthy. Stay real. And I'll see ya.